The trailer was not finished. We had to put a canopy on it so that we wouldn't end up with a bathtub. They worked literally 24 hours straight. On Monday night, around 10 o'clock, our neighbor comes pulling into our driveway. Hey, I saw your car broken down 2 miles from here. So we had to go put the tow dolly on the trailer.
So here I am.
Or on the van.
Hi, you guys. Hi, Misty.
Had to put the tow dolly on the van, get the car. They're still working on the trailer.
And there was leaving fire. Yeah.
Got the car here. It's not working, which meant they had to winch it onto the trailer.
Yeah, we totally barfed the ignition just before loading the thing. And so we had the part shipped here to the convention. We put it on here and fired it up, and here we are.
At least we didn't have to have the Teamsters push it into the building.
Yeah, but the Teamsters don't know. Won't hurt us. Right. Hi, I'm Larry.
Hello.
Hi, all. Hi. So this is Misty. You met her? Yeah, that's cool. Okay. They were asking if we needed any special AV requirements. I'm going, no, we can bore them without any technical details. Well, I'll tell you what. Highest compliments to the art show. Those guys really know what they're doing. They've been very helpful to me. As we were hustling the AHE double toothpicks out of Oklahoma, I said, look, let's take the art and take the frames and frame it when we get there. And holy crap, they were ready for that. The art's there. There's a big 24 by 36 of the new painting of Skandran the Black Griffin. First one in 15 years. And the fellow that plays Skandran online on one of the bucks said, how about you do that? I was going to do something else. I was like, no, everybody likes Scan. We'll do Scan. Yeah. And he's actually here. That's nice. Yeah, cool. So, yeah. You're bouncy. This is awesome. Are there special seats or you just like that? Oh, really? Oh, we can fix that.
Easily.
Oh, God.
Thank you for making me feel old.
Yeah. Dudes and dudettes, whenever you are writing books and you're in it for a long time, some very touching things happen. So, you get touched? Oh, boy. No. Anyway, some very touching things happen. People will name their children after characters for your book.
Yeah, and this is nice right until they tell you my child named after the character in your book is graduating from college now.
I'm telling you, the feeling that you get from that is about 10% wonder and 90%, oh, holy crap.
Yes, I'm that.
Yeah, actually at DragonCon last year, this totally cool 7-year-old, blue mohawk, hell yeah. Parents are there, introduce him as Treva, named after one of the griffins from the books. And dude, this kid's personality was absolutely perfect. We hung out, and we got pictures together, and I hope he still has the mohawk. Yeah, you bet. Any questions? What do you guys want to know?
I actually have one. I don't have my flight check on, but I have a degree in aerospace engineering. I have adopted the teledras for Winds of Thy Wings for my party.
Right,
I
Jaleva.
want to know, is it?
Jaihaleva.
Jaleva.
Jaleva. That's what I wanted to know. How do you say it?
Well, I would like to know in response, what is it you're going to use it for?
I'm just saying goodbye.
Just J11, just like that. But you're in aerospace, so that could mean have a good time in orbit.
Exactly.
Actually, it is weird where some of our stuff does show up because of the fans. We had a Royal Marine who is assigned to Her Majesty's Yacht Britannia, who put our books in the ship's library. There's a digital copy of Black Griffin in the databanks on the space station.
We have an entire nuclear submarine.
Yes, we do.
We had at one point.
We have an entire state-class nuclear submarine because one person brought in some books, and naturally, when you're on a float, everything gets passed around. So then what happened?
Well, then they turned up at
Portland.
in Portland, and they turned up at Firebird while they were still in business. And Firebird normally did not sell out of their office. They were strictly mail order. But these guys said, we've got less than 12 hours and we have this list of books we must get or our shipmates will kill us.
Honest to God, they said, no, we are under orders from the sub-captain. You know, we have to do this. We are under orders. It was great. So,
you know, I've got among other things, I have a log tube full of semen.
Yes. And oddly enough, a submarine. So, Scruffy here, Scruffy's magnificent, but I was telling Scruffy a couple stories. We're putting up one of the Scandranan pictures, the frontispiece for Scandranan. This is the first time I've shown the originals at a convention in 12 years. I mean, so you guys rate, I'm telling you.
No, I'm not bored, guys. I'm just exhausted.
Yeah, we're pretty tired. We're slamming energy drinks here just to be conscious. But I was telling Scruffy that Black Griffin picture has shown up in some of the strangest places. It's lots of tattoos, of course, but I got a picture of a Marine aviator that had it next to his call sign on his F-18. And there was one version of it that they sent from Gulf War Episode 1 of it on the side of an Abrams tank. You know, and somebody chalked, "Hi from Misty and Larry" on a cruise missile. You know, it's a strange and wonderful life. But I'll tell you, you guys, it's a very tiring life, and you guys rejuvenate us. You know, you remind us why we do it every time we get to see you. And there are times when we're both depressed as hell and we're hurting, and we got pages doing, oh god, yeah, hey, you remember that chick that, yeah, she was kind of awesome. Oh, that dude with the costume. And suddenly we got energy thanks to you. It's wonderful. So, you know, we give you some books and you give us life. Yeah, next question. What do you think? Look how you're dressed and you're being hesitant. Wow. I've got this nuclear eyeshadow and all this shiny stuff. I'm afraid to be noticed.
What was the inspiration for the elves in the abstract shadow books and they're not using questions?
Oh.
Missy's got that.
Well, we were just looking for an extremely polite society because if you read if you start reading the prequel series to it, you'll see why they're a very polite society. They were a very murderous society before then. It's kind of the same thing as this, why the Vulcans are so polite, because they nearly murdered each other.
Right. Is that it?
That's it.
It's not up for me.
Sorry about
I
that.
want to know more.
Yes.
Actually, kind of one question in 3 parts.
Oh, excellent. Is there harmony?
You work with a lot of people, like, you know, in like your book stuff is a lot of, people out there. I was wondering exactly how that works, like how the process works.
It depends on the book. In the very, very early days, we physically passed the manuscript back and forth. We were still at the computer stage at that point, so it was
But they were
finding
powered by steam.
a conversion program between our two word processing programs, and then physically passing the manuscript back and forth on a computer disk. Not a computer disk.
I got to tell you, if I interrupt right there, that sometimes when we tell our stories or answer a question like that, the people in the audience are so young that we have to explain the context of the time. You know,
There was no internet, folks.
when I started,
There was no email.
There was no FedEx when my career began. Imagine that, you know.
We were at the point where I was doing collaborations with people. There was a FedEx, and you could send things back and forth on disk, and that's what we did.
And fax machines had just become affordable.
But God help you if you tried to fax a manuscript, it would have cost you $1 million.
Yeah. And it was only thermal paper, which means that eventually it just turns black anyway. So, you know, eat after reading, that kind of thing.
So when Larry and I were collaborating, it was a lot easier. I just took the disc out of the machine and walked it over to it.
Yeah.
Sneakerhead. Back in the days of sneakernet.
Can I tell you about that? Can I tell you guys how we met?
Oh, yes.
Okay, this is fun. She was author guest of honor, and I was artist guest of honor at a convention in Meridian, Mississippi. And they wanted to do a TV spot. So they picked me up from the airport and drove me directly to the news place. That's what they called it, the news place. And there was no green room. It was like walk in, pat some dulling powder on me, sit me down. Hi, I'm Larry. You know.
And they were putting it was a very small TV station, and they were putting us on a special 5-minute slot in the middle of the news. And we came on, literally, I'm not making this up, we came on after the report of 2 drunk guys in the swamp boat that had just seen a UFO. I could not make that up.
Let me tell you, and what was so awesome about that was that the reporter played it totally straight. I mean, this was an actual news event, and so, yeah. And, but it was literally, the way that we met was, I come in, I sit down, she's already on stage. I was like, hi, I'm Larry. Hi, I'm Misty. 5, 4, 3. And here we are with, and that was how we met. And by the end of that weekend, we had plotted our first book together.
Which turned out to be Black Griffin.
Yeah, it was. The working title we had was Ties Never Binding, and a lot of it made it into the Lynn series. And yeah, there you go.
But really, what we actually plotted at that point was Black
It
Griffin.
was Black Griffin because Scan Drennan had to be born.
Yeah.
He would not tolerate this planet without his awesomeness.
That's true. Nowadays, my collaborators and I work in Google Drive, and which is nice because we have, especially with the Secret World Chronicle series, we've got 4 people often working on literally the same story at the same time.
Multiple people can have the same manuscript open and edit it. So she has collaborative writing sessions live now. And it's a blast because there's chat windows, and you can say, hey, will you go to page 63 to look at this, that power work, you know, that kind of thing.
Cody, for God's sake, will you give that woman a gun?
Yes.
I don't know what kind of gun to give her. Will you give her a gun?
Yeah. And Cody's going, well, let me check my mental armory. Okay, she's going to want a 1939 Charter Arms in 1911A. And okay, well, that's good then. Would you like to know the slide rate on it? How about the fire rate? It's going to be about 1,600 feet per second. Okay. Cody,
Thanks,
back it off.
Cody. Back it down.
Is she going to be using hollow points or magnets?
Cody!
That's our boy. Yeah. Anytime we get a message from Cody, it's like, is he in jail? Okay, fine. Okay, he's working tonight. He may bail. So, we're working together, methodology, we can tell you some of how Misty and I worked on some of the books. And it's really kind of cool because of the coincidences. I will preface this by saying that this is a goddess. What Misty here is unparalleled in many ways. And honest to God truth, she is the fastest writer in the industry.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Well,
But there are
okay.
not very many people that are as fast or faster than me.
Okay, there are Pokemon random book generators that are faster. But I've edited her, you know, I've been an editor for many years as well, and she has handed me 42 flawless finished pages in one day. Most writers at their very fastest can pull 5 pages a day. And when I say she's a machine, I mean it in the very best way. In 42 pages, I found nothing to correct. There was no viewpoint flaw, there were no spelling errors, the paragraphs were perfect. It was breathtaking. And I wish I could express to you how impressive that is as an editor to be handed 42 pages, and then she decides it's time for dinner.
No, it takes me about a 16-hour day to do 42 pages.
Yeah, it was amazing though. But here's the thing, whenever we were working together on, let's say, the Winds books or the Black Griffin, you know, that kind of thing, we used this interesting method of relaying with suffixes on the files. we would write an outline, an extended outline, also called a skeleton. And this is something that Misty learned from C.J. Cherry, right?
Yeah, but now I use Blake Snyder's beat sheet.
Yeah, Blake Snyder's beat sheet is what we use now. But an extended outline is basically a skeleton.
All the good parts of the book,
Yeah.
as if the book were a movie that you were telling a friend about.
Right.
And your friend didn't care about spoilers, so he wanted to know the ending.
Yeah, the best way that we described it is that you're seeing your friend off at the airport and you saw an awesome movie the night before.
And you know he's going to Madagascar and he's not going to see this movie and he really wants to know how it comes out.
And you've got about 20 minutes to tell it. So what this comes out to, whenever you write it out, is it comes out to 40 to 60 pages of outline. And you include all the cool lines like, oh, he's got to say this because it's freaking awesome. You know, and you include that, you know. It's not a bullet point outline. It's a version of the story as if told by somebody. And that gives you an idea of the kind of flow that you want. Well, here's an interesting thing. The rate that Misty comfortably works on a single book, she works on multiple books a day, again, amazing, is about 10 pages of finished text. Well, an interesting coincidence is when you lay out 3 pages of your outline, it's about 10 pages a page. So you would have what you did yesterday, what you're doing today, and where you're going tomorrow, right next to you.
I work on a condensed version now that's about 10 pages long. That's using Blake Snyder's speed sheet.
Now, Blake Snyder was an amazing man. He wrote a number of very successful screenplays, but he would hear bitching all the time about, why do movies suck? Why aren't they better? And he, as a screenwriter, said, yeah, why aren't they better? and he looked at all the great movies, and not just things that grossed a lot of money. I mean, movies that were genuinely great, even if they didn't make a ton of money. And he discovered, holy crap, there actually is
There's a pattern.
There's a pattern. And it has to do with human psychology. How you can hit them with something, and then it's got a fade effect, and how you lull them in and recharge them by how you time the next beat.
And what that beat is.
And what that beat is. And what he came up with, after he worked on this for years, he developed something called a beat sheet.
Which is basically how the human mind wants to hear a story told. What the pacing is and what the elements within that pacing should be. And he came up with a very intuitive process, which he then put into his screenwriting book called Save the Cat, which covers more than the beat sheet. It also covers characterization and various other elements of writing. But for me, I never had the problem with anything else except the pacing.
Now, do you know why it's called Save the Cat? Any guesses? No? Did you ever see a movie called Alien?
It's because he said that in any movie or book, if you don't want your audience to walk out or throw the book across the room, even if your viewpoint character is an anti-hero, a great example of that is Riddick.
Mm-hmm.
Riddick is a really horrible person. Yes, he really, really is. In Alien, but Riddick hadn't come out yet, or he probably would have called it something else. In Alien, Sigourney Weaver's character, Ripley, is a very cold bitch. She's not really very likable until the moment when she goes back to save her cat.
It's a human.
And then, bam, she's got everybody in the audience.
Yeah. Because there's that humanizing element that you can relate to that suddenly makes, okay, I see what was going on before and where it's going now, because now I understand her motives better. And so it's called Save the Cat. And then he did other books called Save the Cat Strikes Back.
And Save the Cat Goes to the Movies.
Save the Cat Goes to the Movies is an analysis
Of 40 really good movies by the beat sheet.
Yeah. And holy crap, 40 movies that were successful break down to the beat sheet. It's brilliant. So if somebody calls us formulaic, we're going to go, thank you, because this really works. It's awesome.
And I discovered after reading this book that when I was doing it instinctively, But where a book was failing, where I had a book that failed, or just didn't come up to my standards,
It was probably because
it was because I missed a beat.
Yeah. And that's something I want you guys to understand about us when we hang out together and when we do a panel or something like this. We screw up a lot. And, you know, no shame in my game. I'm not going to sit up here like, oh, we're perfect, you're here to adore us. No, we're here to relate to you and talk to you, and holy crap, do we fail a lot. And so if you guys ever get really self-conscious about your art or your writing or whatever, when I do a master class on art, I start out by saying, okay guys, it is time to chill your asses out. You see, if you're hitting one drawing good out of 10 right now, I've been doing this for 30 years, I hit 4 out of 10. If you're striving for perfection, you will make yourself absolutely crazy. But here's the thing I want you to remember. If you do a drawing that's 90% bad, still 10% good. Keep your old sketches, keep your drawings. Because what may happen if your drawing fails is that you don't yet have the technical ability to make it work. But if you love what you do, the technique will come. We're still constantly learning our technique. We are still developing. As I teach, we are all in the process of becoming the person we want to be. We never reach a destination, it's a process. And whenever we're working on books and things, we're experimental, we try stuff, we do things that are frankly kind of crazy to try, but we just want to see if we'll do it. Like that Vonnegut, do one thing every day that scares you. You have to just try to see, can I pull this off? And that was where we ran into experiments like The Secret World Chronicle. We love this game City of Heroes. How about if we do a superhero series? How about if we do it as a free podcast? Hey, that'd be kind of awesome. Hey, Bain Books wants to buy it for $5. Okay, that's freaking awesome too. and then the senior editor at Bain tells me, well, hey Larry, you're really close to this, yeah? Okay. You're going to be revising editor? Okay. How about the cover artist? Okay. Well, nobody knows the material better than you, and you're our cover artist. So, okay, I'll edit and be cover artist.
Then he comes to me and he says, what do we want on the cover? I said, well, how about a Nazi Death Eagle?
Hell yeah, make it. So whenever you see the covers, and I got all 3 of the covers so far, including the newest one, the Ubermensch, what the heck. He's a Nazi supervillain with invulnerability and super strength, and then he wears power armor over that.
Overkill.
But the main thing is, all those covers, they have to be metal. I'm telling you, if you get a metal fan in there and he goes, that rocks, I've done a good cover for that series. So, I mean, robotic Nazi Death Eagle and robotic Nazi Death Wolf.
And a robotic Nazi Death Dragon for the 4th one.
That's right, it's going to be... Now, here's the weird thing.
Larry has never done a dragon on the cover of a book. He's done dragons on the interior art, but never done dragon on a cover. So this will be Larry's first dragon cover.
And I've been in the business for 30 years. This is my anniversary, 30 years, and I've never done a dragon painting for a cover. That's
and
crazy.
it'll be a Nazi death dragon.
That's like an auto mechanic that's never adjusted to spark timing. What the hell? Yeah. Indeed. But we'll do it. It'll be fun. It'll be metal. Yeah, and arms are here.
One of the things that I admire most about you is the breadth of your bibliography. And one of the questions I have is...
My editors hate that.
How do you address the challenge of continuing to come up with fresh ideas, but without sounding like a robo-writer? It's one of the things I really admire.
Oh, that's more obscure sources to steal from, really.
Mostly it's, oh God, I've done this. Either I or someone else has done this 40 million times. How can I do something a little different?
Yeah.
And you just keep asking. It's this Theodore Sturgeon, ask the next question being, you know, just what if, what then?
Another thing is, we drove 1,200 miles to be here. When we're on road trips...
No, not this one.
Not this one. We were tired as hell. Holy crap. It was like, hey, a driver wired like a banjo and everybody else asleep. But whenever Misty and I go on long road trips or traveling, she'll be in the passenger seat with a laptop and we plot books while we drive.
Or
And
I'll
there's just
read, if
something
we're
about
not
it.
plotting books, where I'm reading him something to see how it sounds.
Yeah, I know. We do one thing, which is a nice method. We do spontaneous dialogue. We got a lot of praise in the Serrated Edge books with Tannum Drake about the realism there, because he would pause in mid-sentence, he'd go, let me think about that, that kind of thing. The reason is we left the dialogue to the last minute, because we didn't want it to be perfect. We wanted it to be like people actually talk. And so that is one technique that worked well, but yeah.
And when we're working on the Secret World stuff, we're literally writing the dialogue as if we are RPing it.
Yeah, there's a great amount of
We
role-playing in
understand,
that series.
we've done those we did those characters, different versions of those characters, but we played them, RP'd them for
Many years.
4 or 6 years before we started the books.
That's right.
So we know their heads. We know their heads very well. So when there's several of us in there, 2 or more of us in there, and we're doing the dialogue, it's absolutely spontaneous, as if we are RPing it. And then we go back in and we polish it up a little bit, but it's natural conversation.
It is, and we are guest of honor this year at Gen Con. And it's a wonderful thing, because I started back in the 70s from the blue and purple mimeographs of what would become Dungeons and Dragons. So to wind up as GOH at Gen Con is pretty freaking awesome. But the reason I mention it is that as writers, we encourage role-playing games. And the reason is, as a writer, you can sit with your 4 walls and your cursor blinking like this. I'm just demanding you to do something on this blank screen. And if you've got people that you can role play with, what you get is a spontaneity. You have to think quick to role play well.
Role playing and would-be writers is both a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
All right. There are way too many people who have come up to me and said, I got this great campaign going and I can't wait to write it up as a book. And I'm watching the tombstones being erected as we speak. Because that is, and what may be a great campaign to you is not going to be a great campaign to the reader.
Yes.
If you can hear the dice roll, we don't want to see it.
Yeah. The terrible thing is, the reason I say it's a terrible thing is because I did a terrible thing to them. We had a panel at DragonCon last year, and these adorable two ladies were there, and I loved them. And they said, "Well, we've been running this game, and we've got these characters, and we got all these books. We know these characters so well. We're really excited about it." And I said, "I don't care." And everybody in the audience kind of rocks back, like, "What the hell?" I said, "No, you're asking me as an editor about this. You're telling me about it, but you need to realize I don't care. That you love it is assumed, and I'm glad that you love it. But what you need to do is make someone else love it. And this week, you've got to make me care about it. That is how you get published. It doesn't matter if you think it's awesome. It could actually be awesome.
And
but
you
need
don't
to get them to care.
And you don't tell me how great it is in the cover letter.
Yeah. Because there's a whole process to getting published and everything, but really the key is to make somebody give it to you.
You've got to make, actually, to be more precise, you have to make the first reader give a damn in the first 5 pages.
That's right. You're up.
Okay, actually, my sister, who's here on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's watching on the phone.
She's watching on the phone. She wants to know how you guys got into raptor rescue and rehab.
Wow.
Actually, it first started when my ex-husband called us up and said we found a red-tailed hawk at the steel mill where I work.
Vincent Metals.
Vincent Metals. And we turned up, and it was, of course, as they always are, a kestrel.
Well, with me, it was. I feel embarrassed every time I answer this question because it sounds contrived. But ever since I was about 13 was when people first started noticing at nature centers that all birds of prey, all of them, even if they're injured, chill the hell out with me. I mean, and it's a spooky effect. I mean, we have gotten just raging, mad, bleeding, injured birds. And I come up and I kind of lean in and I do my thing there, and Chick goes, yeah, okay, it's cool. And that made them, easier to handle. And so we went into just studying raptors quite a lot until we worked with close to 500 over the past 30 some years.
Well, if you count the things beside the raptors, yeah, it's probably.
Yeah, we
about that.
had corbies. We've actually rehabbed a hummingbird. How's that?
Yeah, and the
great blue heron.
And the great fun of great blue herons, which you cannot handle. I'm the one that does the great blue herons.
I'm telling you, because these things, okay, bird muscle has about 6 to 8 times the density of human muscle. Okay, a great blue heron has a beak about like this that is hardened like that on the end, on a whipped neck, okay? And they think you're going to eat them. So whenever you're trying to rehab one of these, you wear a polycarbonate shield.
Because what happens is...
And they have killed
and they
rehab.
Go for your eyes.
By going through the eye and into the brain. They have killed rehabbers, seriously. I had one take a chip out of a polycarbonate face shield. Holy crap. I mean, it's waiting for a 22 bullet.
And then on top of that, you have the glorious defense mechanism that great blue herons have, which is to barf. And they eat fish. It's the barfing the fish that is. So you have a nervous great blue heron, which
stands this tall,
which is underfed, is probably half starved at this point, and you're trying to keep 23-inch minnows in its stomach.
Yep. So you have to feed them individually. Then they're stinky as hell too. So we got sent these things by the zoo, even by park rangers, by
Nobody wants to take
Nobody
the great
wanted to
blue
rehab
heron.
the stuff we rehab, but yeah, we had a few that were wonderful. But I hope that helps answer the question at least.
She's freaking out over the fact you said hi to her.
We wish you were here, but we're glad that you're here virtually. And actually, that's another thing I wanted to mention to you guys. If you have friends that are sick or for some reason couldn't make it, you can call them on the cell phone and we'll step in. We'll say hi.
So he has been waiting so patiently.
Oh, Scandretta?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He's a character.
Yeah, he's totally a character, except he's me. So, now what I thought would be really, really fun would be to have a character that could do amazing, awesome things, who was also neurotic, who knew that he was built to be vain. Because it was something that Eartho built into all of the Griffins is a level of vanity. The reason is...
Well, except Aubrey.
Except Aubrey, he's a disaster. But, yeah, the feathers sift out the particulate magic in the air, if you will. And so the better you take care of your feathers, the more easily you charge the bone lining that allows you to fly. So he made them all vain so they would want to look good and keep the feathers in good repair. Scandretta knows that he was built to be vain, so he finds his vanity amazingly funny. And he's also neurotic, so he's always questioning his worth at the same time he's going, but I'm so awesome. That's him, you see what I mean? Okay.
Have either of you heard of the Great Big Round Table?
The Great Big Round Table.
Yeah, this
Is
goes...
that the Will Wheaton thing?
I like that.
No, I don't think so. This was a project on Kickstarter that started up to basically demo stories from authors, and it's about the whole making people care thing.
Right. Yeah.
And basically, you get the first 1,000 words for free. You can read it, and if you decide that you want more, you basically throw money at them.
Oh, that's
and you
very
get the
clever.
whole story.
That's very clever. But see, I'm trying to get the money together to build a new studio, so I'm thinking, oh, yeah, I'll try that. The problem is I have the right equipment, and I have the right resources, and I have 1/3 of the space I need.
You know, if everybody at this con just bought $10 worth of stuff, we could buy your studio.
I just did a whole lot of new merchandise just for you guys. I mean, she was just going, I can't believe you're working this hard for Anthrocon. No, absolutely I am. These guys are awesome. Besides, You know the theory of the long tail whenever it comes to economics. The long tail is furry, believe me. It basically states that you can live as well as a rock star on tour if you simply have a small number of people that will always buy everything you make. And the furries have been so good to us over the years. I mean, when we were doing Katrina relief and rescue, and I had credentials so I could get into the restricted areas, so we put together a big ass truckload of stuff. We made the call, 14 furries showed up from as far away as 400 miles. Within, I mean, boom, drop everything they got, I'll see you later. And they're there to label supplies, pack the truck and all of that. We got loud rock and roll playing, we were doing pizzas, and they got their little tails on and they got the ears. And it was just a wonderful experience that we were able to help 38 fandom families, some of whom had lost everything down to the toothbrush. And I thank the furries for that very, very much. So, yeah, we're here because we really do love you all. I mean, I know it sounds goofy and trite, but yeah, that's the real thing. Thanks. Next question, guys?
There's a guy back there. Yes, you.
I know the fandom goes back a while, and I know that especially your books, The Black Griffin.
Yeah.
That series goes back a while. How long have you known about the fandom?
Well, actually, that's a strange thing.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, both of you.
I don't know.
I'd say you first became aware of it as a thing, as they say, about 16 years ago.
Probably something like that, yeah.
Well, here's a strange thing, and again, I have to explain context, but I'll start with this. Misty and I are not actually part of any fandom, but we are allies of many fandoms, if that makes sense. And this became important because there were some fandoms that would claim pros as trophies. And then you would discover other parts of fandom really hated you because you were friends with so-and-so. And there's this Elton John, Bernie Taupin line that says, I'm not a present for your friends to open. And that's why we stay independent from the fandoms. We love you, but we don't want to be claimed by anybody as a possession, if that makes sense. So with that preface, way back when there were things called APAs, and these were types of magazines, again, this pre-internet, pre-FedEx, yada yada, very, very early type of fan magazine, where if there were 60 members in the APA, you would do your contribution and make 60 copies and ship them to the collator. And I was a collator on some of the very first furry magazines. And we're talking 1984. Yeah. And so I've been on the sides, but people ask me sometimes, well, are you a furry? And I really like furries a lot, but just because I drive on the road doesn't make me a Peterbilt.
Yeah, just because of the whole Griffin thing, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, the Griffin thing, I got to tell you, it's.
Well, for one thing, we wanted to do something that wasn't a dragon.
And it actually started from a very, very kind woman. Her name was Andre Norton. And Andre loved Griffins. And the first book that I actually bought with my own money was an Andre Norton book called Cat's Eye. And she went from being a distant writer to being a hero, to being a colleague, to being a friend. And I actually, when she passed, I wound up with some of her art library. But she loved Griffins, and so Misty and I thought, you know what, this will make Andre happy. Let's do more with the Griffins. At that time, Misty had literally only mentioned Griffins on Belgar once. I know, now it's hard to imagine it without him, right? And then it built from that, and then Annie McCaffrey really liked him, and I got the nickname the Griffin King from Andre and Annie.
Or grip honking.
Yeah, grip honking, depending how you space it. Griffin King, grip honking, nice one. Okay. Yes. And I just stuck with it, and so I made myself dedicated.
We're making him spew.
I'm going to see a laughter barf any moment out. It's so funny, I barf my heroes. Yeah. Next question. Holy crap, way back there.
I'm just curious. Is it possible more of the non-human species that end up being out the whole
Kinda. Yes.
Can non-humans become heralds?
Yeah, like a griffin or a coyote.
I don't know why not.
Yeah, it's
You have to be extraordinarily self-sacrificing to do it.
So
But
no griffins
yeah.
there. Actually, it's quite adorable. If you've read the story Perfect Day in Valdemar, Kelvin, the brave, actually does pretty much shut himself down, trying to help a patient next to him that is seizing. And it's a real tearjerker of the story. You know, and he's talking in Kimberly Clark.
Yeah.
But they put it in the 30th anniversary leather bound. Holy crap. I couldn't believe the company I was in on that story. Holy cow. It is. Yeah, it sure is. But then I wound up doing more and more stories with Kelvin, the Brave. He calls himself that because he thought he needed a title. So he Kelvin, the Brave. Like, hey, you know, I'm wing leader at Cavell Vale.
Wing leader of a wing of one.
Yeah, he's the only one there. I'm the wing leader, you know. Or anything, you know. Yeah, okay, next time we had someone right over there.
I'm a big fan, by the way.
Cool.
Fantasy community often, I'm trying to figure out a good way to word this. I'm trying to like 30 minutes now. Often automatically compares authors to a select few, Tolkien, Lewis. Do you feel female fantasy authors have to work hard to break out of automatic comparisons to Marion Zimmer Bradley?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Andre or Eddie.
And as long as we're female fantasy writers, we're automatically second class.
Yeah, FFW is in fact like a contraction for it in the industry. Oh, it's another FFW. Yeah. Oh, look, put a unicorn on the cover. It's a she-writer. Yeah. but we screw with people a lot. And so you look at Mercedes Lackey and you start reading, you're going, female fantasy writer, holy crap, this woman's a pro wrestler, you know. Because Misty messes with genre and she messes with style and always experimenting. But yeah, 23 years married, what do you think? Yeah. This is the gal that will go into the 24-hour Walmart, buy a stack of murder and serial killer books and a single knife.
At 3 a.m.
And smile and pay in one. I will love this woman forever.
Sit, boy.
All the Inuyasha guys are playing. Next up. Oh, way over here? We'll get to you.
First of all, I just want to say thank you kindly. You were one of the few authors out there that you managed to get me crying like a little baby. Stories.
Thank you for paying my mortgage.
But one of the questions I had is, once again, going back to the book we have, did you have particular favorites among species of birds?
Yeah, without a doubt. The thing that we
Kestrels and barred owls.
Yeah, barred owls are fantastic. They are so laid back that you can pick one up, injured, and kiss it on the head. Yeah, they're just great to handle.
Well, either that or they're thick as two short planks and they don't notice.
Yeah. That'd be a great horned owl, believe me. But one thing that we did that rehabbers usually don't do is we name every bird. And we have some in particular that have been real favorites. Certainly Simon, I actually have a picture of her on my webpage. She was a spectacular red-tailed hawk that had been hit by a big requip antenna and it crushed the left side of her face, and she was blind and deaf on that side.
And also had the strange and peculiar brain damage that made her absolutely fearless.
And when I say absolutely fearless, I mean nothing could freak her out.
Just as calm as could be.
All of the fear reactions you would get out of any other bird, she just, you know. So she wound up being a display bird at the Oklahoma State Fair for Fish and Wildlife, and it was like 200,000 people around.
And she's in essentially a giant aquarium, and people are tapping on the glass, and she's going, when's the quail coming?
This is kind of cool, but she was adorable because she would sleep with her blind side to me, you know. But then there was this one moment that happened where I've got my real heavy-duty work chair and everything, and I'm working on a drawing for one of the books of a hawk brother, of a Teledrus, and she is on the back of the chair preening my hair. And I realize, holy crap, this is exactly how the fans were imagining me.
For the record, no white horses. A horse is a hole in the pasture you pour money into.
Yeah, there's actually a saying in Oklahoma, if you want to make a man poor, give him a horse. Yeah. But we got fluffy white cockatoos, does that count? Okay, next question was after him. Lady.
Have you faced any pressures or challenges or maybe criticisms associated with writing gay characters?
No.
No, not at all.
No.
Actually,
My editor, in fact, was very encouraging with doing the Valniel series.
got a Lambda Award. How cool is that? Yeah, best gay male fiction. The research was a lot of fun. Anyway, you do a lot for your art.
You are wrong on so many.
As we said to Sam, yeah, it'll fit. So, the neat thing about Misty and the gay characters is that she actually doesn't really give a damn. The point is, they're characters first. There's no big agenda, ooh, I'm going to speak for all the gays. No, he can speak for this little sumbitch here who's got arrows coming at him. You know, like Mario, the approach was...
Now, the approach was, he is a borderline abused, very misunderstood, awfully emo teenager.
Totally. He's like reading
I'm
a
depressed
fantasy.
and so I whine, so I whine. I'm depressed and so I whine. My name's Vanya.
Don't get me wrong, we have a blast at the books, but this guy was like writing consecutive Morrissey albums. Which is
Pretty much, yeah.
The funny part about that is that Johnny Marr from the Smiths actually is a fan. Along with Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam and a couple other people. Neil and Tim Finn from Split Ends and Crowded House actually named the two biggest trees on Finn Station, Misty and Larry. And their road manager, I designed his Griffin tattoo. So, but it's really funny. So when I was making the official Valdemar map, I named towns after them. You know? So fun. Yeah. Next up was over here. And then
I'm curious about the magic that you use, especially in Natalia opening Arrow series. You do a lot with magic and century. Where did that come from? How did you develop that?
Well,
Sam Staple.
basically, I didn't want to have magic. I wanted to have just psionics. But my editor said, there's got to be some kind of magic in it or they won't know it's a fantasy book. So I did the opening with Vanyel and real magic. And then I went back and then came up with a rationale for why there wasn't real magic anymore.
We work a lot on the science of it, believe it or not. I mean, we love scientists and we're really into physics and things like that.
So I try and do, there's no such thing as free lunch magic.
Yeah, TANSTAFL, that's what the abbreviation is. There ain't no such thing as a free lunch. It's got to cost something. You know, the same way that we use petroleum, the same way that we use steel. You know, the labor has to go into acquiring it and into using it. And with a lot of the magic stuff, what I've been especially doing with some of the Griffin things is the reason why you study so much is because physics still apply.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the most important things you learn from the very beginning is how to keep it from manifesting as heat. And so there's a lot of thermodynamics involved in the training that you get as you're using magic and so on. So, and now, your turn. Mr. Goldblum. Yes. Huh? Right. Right. That's a great idea.
I think you should do that.
That would be freaking great to do from your viewpoint. You see, if you can talk to somebody, if you can just chat with them, you're halfway there to having a book. And you just asking this question, you're expressing yourself very well. So what you might do is find a collaborator who can do all the tap-to-tap, while you talk about how it feels and what you do, and you can construct a story around that, especially using play center method. We have gotten a lot of praise over the years for having different types of handicapped characters in the books. One of the best art compliments I ever got came from that, in fact.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh my God, there was a guy online who was just bitching nonstop about how much he hated the art, and he said, look at page 78, this guy looks like he's had a stroke.
Well, he had.
And the character who had retired from being a herald because he had a stroke. Thank you very much. Sucker, thanks for the compliment. But in the story
Just proved you didn't read the book, dude.
Exactly, yeah. I didn't read authority. The character did have a stroke, but glad you could tell from the picture. We've had, for instance, in the follow-up story to Perfect Day in Valdemar, which is called Transmutation, there is a young boy that has pretty extreme birthmarks. And so he's kind of shunned as, because he just looks so funny. And he winds up with Gelbrand, and Gelbrand says, what's the problem? You've got good markings. He's just got that Griffin point of view. It's like, why should I care about that? Where's my food? Yeah. And he turns into a really cool character. But then we get people going, I can't believe you actually had a character with like a big birthmark. My sister has that. I've got to give this to her. This is the world, people. Not everyone is a middle-aged white guy. This is not network television where you have your one or two tokens and everybody else is shiny, clean, upper income white guys. This is a world that's very complex, and you get a little bit of everything. So, yeah. Did that really confuse you more than answer anything? Because I'm confused.
You should do that.
Yeah. What we're saying is we could do that, but
you'll do it better.
You'll do it better. Yeah. Okay. And
one of the strengths that I have is knowing when to stop.
Yes. Yeah.
Another
thing that
what am I not good at?
Yeah. My list is extensive. Let me say. But it brings us to a wonderful segue to something that we wanted to tell y'all, which is the best way to write adventure is to have adventure. Go do stuff, and then you will know how to describe it. For instance, the Serrated Edge books, I know cars a bit.
Yeah.
But I wanted Misty to experience some of the stuff that I know by heart that I love. So for instance, I wanted to describe to her the hydrostatic shock that comes off of a dragster. So I took her to the drags, and she could feel, the shock waves off of these open pipe cars hit your chest, and the water in your body just gets knocked back, and you feel the force exit from your back.
I'm never going again.
Yeah.
I had migraines from the stink.
Oh, nitromethane. Yeah, that's good for you. But she got to see a jet truck too, which is freaking.
That's true. It was very cool, all except for the not breathing part.
Yeah, they're so picky about that. But then I go on to, we went to racing school, and that's where Misty got her competition motorsports license, because you want to know what it feels to actually drive a performance car over.
Well, honestly, let's be honest about this. I never really knew what it felt like to be in a performance car until I got second seat with Doc Bundy.
Holy crap. Man, Doc Bundy is a Le Mans winner, among other things, Group 44 Jaguar driver, a spectacularly nice guy. And we had a Lotus Owners Group meeting at Road Atlanta, and he had charity rides, and I bought up some laps for Misty. And I'm out there in a 1990 Lotus Esprit Turbo SE, and I am pushing it to the absolute limit.
Of your ability.
Of my ability to enter the car, and I see a white dot in my rearview mirror, which proceeds to pass me as if I'm parked. And I see Misty going, I'm over in the passenger seat, like, holy crap, you know. Because it turns out that he was in the Lotus that had set the track record,
At Road Atlanta.
including Formula One testing and everything else. It outran all of them. And she was
This is
in
his home
second
track.
seat. Yeah, and she was in second seat on Doc Mundy's home track in the record-setting car. And I was like, what the hell am I doing in here, honestly?
Well, not just that, but when I got in for the first lap, Doc had been giving rides to girlfriends and wives all day. And you know, most of them, if he's going above 70, they're terror.
For the girls.
So, Doc, I get in, and I think the first thing that Doc noticed was how I braced myself.
Yeah, she just locked into the roll
I
cage.
locked into the roll cage.
All right, then.
And then he took it up to about, I'd say 120, and looked over at me, and all he saw was teeth. And at that point, he pushed it. I won't say he matched his record, but I will say he was probably skirting within 10 miles an hour of it.
I will say that after turn 6, he probably hit 180.
Yeah, I would say so.
Oh no, he did it far faster for the record.
Yeah.
He wasn't even on slicks. Unbelievable. It was around
Around 210.
Well, the trap speed was around 210 in that car. But the thing to remember is Road Atlanta is a very twisty track, and it had a thing then called gravity cavity. The gravity cavity has been filled in since then,
Too bad.
but it was a downhill decreasing radius right-hander.
Bunch of pussy drivers,
With-
man.
With an apex you could not see as you approached it. All you could do was aim at a tree in a field out there, and if you were lined up with it, you would go full suspension travel in a 90-foot altitude drop and be on apex.
It was awesome.
It was brutal in the wrong car, I'll tell you that. But
It was still awesome.
if you ever spot a picture of a race car catching air with all 4 tires, it was like that. And
It was probably taken at Road Atlanta.
yeah, they're in Laguna Seca, which is amazing. Yeah, good times. And like when we went to that our reunion, and on the grid they said was a total of 300,000 horsepower. Oh hell yeah! Now that's loud. Next question. Who was it next? Where? I'm looking out there. I don't know if I'm seeing hands or ears.
Lady in the green.
Lady in green.
Okay,
Is it green?
It's green. He's
First-
colorblind.
I'm colorblind.
First, thank you for many hours of enjoyment with the books. They're phenomenal stories. They pull you in. I can't put the books down. So that says something right there. Now I've been enjoying.
That makes it hard to drive, you know.
It makes it
Can't you just buy the audio book instead of as you drive?
the Kindle.
Yeah, right.
And, I've been enjoying the Foundation series, and I'm assuming there's a 4th book coming before it.
5th book.
A 5th book. Okay.
Yeah, there were supposed to be 4. I thought it was 4. As I'm working on number 4, I asked my editor, is this supposed to be a quadrology or a tetralogy? And she said, oh, it's a tetralogy. So I paced it for the tetralogy. And then I come to find out that it had been announced that there were going to be 4, so I guess I kind of pissed some people off.
I was wondering, we're seeing the growing pains with the collective. Is there any chance that eventually you may come back to with Elspeth in
I
that
have
era
no idea.
when
I
I'd
don't
love
know.
to see the growing pains with the magic coming back.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know.
There's sometimes when we work that we have to accept I don't know is the best answer we're going to get. I mean, we don't know what we're going to be hired to do. We don't know what we feel we need to do. We're just going to trust our conscience, try to do good for people.
And try and keep the series at 5 or less, because I'm not going to piss off people the way that Robert Jordan and Jordan Martin have been pissing them off. With the eternally endless 12-part No, it's 14. No, it's 22.
There's a great line on the front of a Douglas Adams book that says, "The fifth book in the increasingly misnamed trilogy." Dear Bandit, next up. Oh, looky there.
Gonna have to cut this short after this one.
Are we really?
Yes.
That's no damn fun.
In almost all genres of creating art, people hit a sort of writer's block. Are there any sort of techniques that you have for either?
Save the cat. If you have writer's block, it's because one of two things is going on. One is that your subconscious is well aware that no matter how your conscience thinks that the book should be going, you are making a fundamental error in plotting.
Yeah, it's a trivial.
The other is you've missed a beat. And your subconscious is trying to tell you, you must have this part in there before you can go on to this part. You cannot just put in the book, here a miracle occurs, and motor on happily.
I get that from the hands off me. But, no, I can give you a couple
No,
of
you
tips.
get Larry Putcar stuff here.
I know. There are times when we're working that we will just default to the other person's expertise and we'll just do a line of asterisks and say, Misty, there really needs to be a clothing description here. And I just leave it at that. She does.
Cody, what the hell kind of gun do we have here?
And then after that hour passes from Cody. Yeah. But I can tell you a couple of techniques and some insights that will help you with the whole idea of writer's block or creative block. Your body is not just this thing that totes your brain around, it's also a refinery. And brain chemistry is very complex, but to feel certain emotions, to have certain thoughts, requires very specific brain chemicals. Very often, if you're having trouble with a block, you can fix it with your diet. You know, if you're feeling...
This is assuming that this is not your subconscious telling you,
Yeah.
no, you douche, don't go there.
Yeah. But here's the thing why I say that. I'm not one of these idiots that's going to say, oh, diet will fix everything. But you expend those chemicals as you work. And whenever you hit a wall, you've probably used up one of those vital chemicals because it won't fire right anymore. So you do something else. I work best whenever I have 7 to 9 projects laid out at once, because I don't have to stop working. I just need to work on something else and let the rest recharge. And so having multiple projects will actually help every project. And that's one of the tips that I have. Let your refinery work, build up your chemicals, eat well to supply the refinery, and just work on another thing.
Okay, one more and that's it.
See you back there.
Is there any specific thing you try to provide dietary-wise to increase, like, creativity or motivation?
Heroin. No. This is actually very, very funny because, I mean, we are as weird as football bat, but we're actually totally straight edge. I've never finished a beer. I can't do a glass of wine. I don't smoke pot. There's nothing like that. Misty's totally straight edge except for a Bailey's once in a while, and that's it, you know, but you expect creative people to be total flakes, and it's not true. But I will tell you on your question, the potassium that's in a banana will help you a lot. Yeah. Okay, we got one last one over there. You?
No.
Yeah,
All right, one and that's it.
Actually, I had a question of, you guys write linearly, like, page by page by page, writing the whole storyline, or do you kind of blob around and get like...
No, I absolutely work linearly, and I use that beat sheet.
That's right, and it's fun that way too. All right, everybody, let me tell you, whenever we're not in panels or doing a signing, we've got 2 tables down in the dealer's room, right next to the Cobra. Okay, go get pictures taken in the Cobra. It's why we brought it. And you know, we don't make a lot of money. I mean, I could never have afforded that car. That was basically what I wound up with as a thank you for a circuit driver I helped survive cancer. You know, so we don't make that kind of money. Believe me, that was just a fluke. But we thought y'all would enjoy it. But please come over whenever we're not on a panel or something. We'll be at those tables, and you can come and hang out with us. My stuff if you're so inclined, but we'll sign your stuff. And we have book plates that we autograph. If you haven't brought your books to be signed, take the autographs to the book. All right, guys. Thanks for being here.
Try to go up.
writing wise.